Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. And today we're going to talk about the Greece Golden Visa, everything you need to know in just a few minutes. So, my name is Julian. I have multiple citizenships, multiple residencies. I work as a partner with Holborn Assets, Holborn Pass, my own global Julian Solutions firm. I've been in the global citizenship space for over 10 years, and I help people create that expat lifestyle, that plan B, that ultimate retirement plan. Today, Holborn Assets has over 20 offices, 500 plus employees, 5 billion under management, and we are a wealth management financial services firm, and we help with all of these different things. But in addition to those, we started Holborn Pass a few years ago as our subsidiary for Global Citizenship Solutions, and we've got over 300 seasoned experts that are specialized in that. We've done over 1,000 golden visas with a 100% approval rate so far. Dozen golden visa options, 10 passport programs. We are the number one provider of the Portugal golden visa. And why do people choose the Holborn Advantage? Because we have exclusive investment options, things you cannot get anywhere else. We approach global citizenship as a solution, and we do it with a wealth management vision. So that sets us apart from everyone in this industry. So the first fast 5 facts of Greece is the most important things to know. It is the only permanent residency solution in the Schengen zone, and it's real estate based. Real estate based programs are dying out. There's not too many of them left, and same with permanent residency solutions. So, Greece Golden Visa is both of those. It is an EU country, so you do have access to the EU. It does provide a pathway to citizenship. You can include your family on the application. It is real estate based, and there's no minimum requirement of being in Greece at all. You can be absent from Greece for years at a time. You're not going to lose your residency. So, why does Greece attract expats? Because it does attract a lot of expats. It's the Mediterranean climate, the Mediterranean lifestyle, the Mediterranean cuisine. It's a quality of life that's on par with the US. You can get top notch, affordable private health care and private education. Their International Living does an annual retirement index in 2025. Greece was listed as number 8 of the top 10, and it is a historical and cultural destination. Some people do find that attractive. A snapshot of the Greece Golden Visa program. It is the only golden visa in the Schengen zone of the EU that offers permanent residency. There is a lifetime hold on the real estate to keep the residency. So it is real estate based. That's a good thing. Not many of those left, but you do have to keep the real estate to keep the residency. They are connected. If you sell off the real estate, then you lose the residency. Um, it has no minimum stay requirement, like I said, and the price point for the Greece Golden Visa starts at 250,000 euros. Now, that's the minimum required investment for the real estate purchase. There are 3 separate tiers of real estate. We'll talk about that in a minute. The specs of the Golden Visa program. It started in 2013, and over 50,000, well, about 50,000 residency permits have been issued to date. That's 50,000 individual applicants. Over 4 billion in real estate purchases basically, and in 2025 has been a record year. We have done, not we, but the industry has done nearly 10,000 applications for Greece so far this year. It is a program that is open to any non-EU citizen, including Russians. However, Russians need to use a non-Russian passport. So if you're a Russian client and you have like a Vanuatu passport or a Caribbean passport, I can help you do the Greece Golden Visa using that passport. If you do not yet have one of those passports, contact me. I can help get you that passport and then help you with the Greece Golden Visa. We'll package them together for a better price. You can add your spouse, your significant other to the application. Children under 21, this is important to know for Greece. That is a hard cutoff age of 21. If your child is 21, they are not eligible traditionally. However, if you're a family of 3, mom, dad, and child is 21, 22, there is a way around that, and just reach out to me and I can help you with that. Parents and in-laws can be added. Again, the required investment starts at 250K. That is only in reference to what the real estate has to cost. There's always taxes, fees. If you've ever bought a house, you know this, plus the residency costs and things like that. The current time to go for approval, this is what my team is realizing in 2025. We are going from beginning to end in 6 months. Now, there are factors that play into that, demand season, things like that. Tourist season is a bad time to get to the submission stage, but it can be done in 6 months. The benefits of the Greece Golden Visa: you can live in Greece at will or not at all. There's no requirement to live in Greece at all. The Greece Golden Visa does give you ETIAS EU visa, the E visa that's launching next year. You're exempt from that, and the EES exemption as well, which is the current program that's going on now, where the fingerprints and the facial scan and all that. You are exempt from both of those programs. It is visa-free travel to all 31 EU connected countries. You'll see some people saying 25 countries, 28 countries. It's 31 countries. If I said to you American citizens have access to 45 US states, yeah, that's what it sounds like. 31 EU connected countries. Conduct business in the EU. There is potential returns for the Greek market. All markets go up and down, but the Greek market does have good history of good returns. And the Golden Visa is a pathway to citizenship. You do need to reside physically in Greece for 7 years to be eligible, and there's a language requirement and things like that, but it is possible. Since we mentioned Greek citizenship, the passport is the sixth most powerful passport in the world, based purely on visa-free access. It has a power passport ranking of 174, 129 visa-free countries, 31 countries work, live, study, do business. EU citizenship is status. It is an advantage. It is access. The EU consistently, year in, year out, ranks in the top 5 and top 10 for quality of life, retirement, education, healthcare, lifestyle, you name it. The EU is the most powerful passports in the world, and the best lifestyle. Now, we said 31 countries, and it is 31 countries. These are your current EU member countries. There are 27. Plus, you have 4 additional countries which are not EU members, but are EU connected countries, and EU citizens enjoy the same residency rights in these 4 countries as they do in other countries, as they do in these other countries. So if you have a Greek or Portugal passport, you can live in Germany, you can live in France, you can live in Ireland, you can live in Switzerland. These countries here are applicants. They're in the process of joining the EU. Turkey, highly unlikely that'll happen soon, at least under the current regime that's there. Georgia was on a very good path, but then this last election kind of stalled it. The rest of these countries, very likely in the next 5 to 10 years. Ukraine's in an iffy situation right now, but the rest of these countries in the next 5 to 10 years highly likely will be future EU members. Kosovo has applied, but it has not yet been approved or denied. It'll be approved. It's just a matter of time. So, as we said, the Greece Gold Visa is real estate based. You have to make a real estate purchase, and those real estate purchases fall into one of 3 tiers. The entry tier, tier 1, is a minimum investment of 250 euros. It is commercial to residential. Think old warehouses, old apartment buildings, old that have been shut down, old commercial buildings, old hotels, old offices that are being converted into residential living places, units such as studios, 1 bedroom, sometimes 2 bedrooms. The vast majority of these are not for client use. The vast majority of these are for the local inventory market. Okay, you're not going to live in these units. Some of them you can, very few, but the vast majority of these are for the local rental market. Traditional home ownership falls into these 2 categories here: 400,000 and 800,000 minimums. Okay, and the real estate has to be at least 120 square meters in size, 1,300 square feet, which in Europe is a large apartment, is a large house. That's sizable here. Okay, so the only difference between these 2 tiers is location. If you've heard of the Greek city, Athens, Thessaloniki, Mykonos, Santorini, Crete, it's going to be in the 800K minimum range. The 400K areas are the places you've not likely heard of before. They're smaller, less popular, not necessarily off the grid, not necessarily rural, just smaller, less popular, not touristy, things like that. Um, but yeah, again, these are minimum required real estate purchases. The real estate market will dictate the actual cost of the property that you're going to invest in. I do have some units that are 250, 255, but a lot of these units are closer to 300, 315. It depends upon there's very limited supply of these, so it just depends upon the availability and when you get in. Again, 130, 120 square meters is a sizable property. So if you're looking for something in Mykonos or the middle of Athens, you're really going to be at the 1.5 million range. 800 is not going to cut it. These are minimum required investments. Now, the tier one is the most popular range. This is what the vast majority of Golden Visa applicants are buying, and this is the commercial to residential. The most important thing to remember here is the property has to be approved for the Golden Visa before you make the purchase. Even if the complex gets approval after you've made the purchase, you're not eligible. The property has to be Golden Visa approved at the time of purchase. And there's a limited number of Golden Visa approved projects. There's a bunch of commercial renovations going on, but a limited number have been approved for the Golden Visa, which is why they sell out fast, which is why that 250 becomes 270, becomes 290, becomes 300. And they're all under construction, so you're looking at completion dates 2026, 2027, and beyond. Again, the vast majority of these units are for the local rental market. There is a small percentage, and I do have some that are client use facilities, client use units, but there's not many, and they're going to be above the 300 mark, those units. But this is the most popular, and I currently have 20 Golden Visa approved projects at the 250 range. Now, everything I have at the 250 range, 250, let's say 250 to 350, everything I have at that range is already Golden Visa approved, and they are with the most credible developers. Merkin, MBS, these are companies who are huge real estate construction firms, but they solely operate in the Golden Visa market. So it's very routine, very common and normal. These are all the paperwork is done. These are approved. I have 20 units currently, or 20 projects currently, and that are Golden Visa approved. And we only work with the best. We only work with people who have a history of the Golden Visa market, who have a proven track record of getting things done on time, have a proven record of using credible and quality products, places that, construction that really counts. Most of our 250 to 350 are in Athens and Piraeus. Piraeus is the port area of Attica. It's like the third largest port in the EU. It is the beginning of the Athenian Riviera. It is a very up and coming area. The vast majority of the 250 units are in that area. We have managed units, furniture packages, guaranteed rental income. Again, vast majority are for the local rental market, but I do have some client use facilities. We can meet, we can talk about them at all, we can go through everything, and then if you would like to meet with a developer of a specific unit, I can set that up and we can all meet together and you can speak to the developer if you like. The timeline as my team has been experiencing it here in 25. Now, this is just a visual linear look at it. Again, all of these dates in here within 2 months, within 3 months, this gets extrapolated to the time of year and demand and all that. But in 2025, we have been able to go from beginning to end in 6 to 7 months. This part is very systemic here. It's very systematic. We get to the final contract, all the way to the actual Golden Visa issuance, that's pretty standard. That's pretty free flowing. It kind of works in a system way. Getting to that point is based upon you selecting a property and buying it. Okay. So the beginning part of this process is very subjective to the property transaction phase. You have to find the property you want and you have to make the payment. At the 250, it's usually very fast and straightforward. There's not a lot of options. But if you're at the 800 range and you're trying to find your dream home, that can take a while. And that's just going to delay everything else at the end of this process. So just something to keep in mind. Also, you don't have to be in Greece for this entire process. You do need to come to Greece during the process. Just for my US clients, it's important to remember when we do our US passports, it's just a very simple thing, birth certificates, things like that, sending in a picture. In the rest of the world, especially in the EU, when you're doing identity documents, they're all connected to your biometrics. You have to submit fingerprints and facial scans to get a national ID, to get your passport, etc., etc. So all EU golden visas, you do need to come to the country at some point to give your biometrics for the residency card and everything. So you will need to be here at the end of this if you're not at the beginning of this. And again, if you're looking at the 250 range, no real reason to come to Greece to start the process. We can do everything online. I can send you brochures about the different projects. If you're at that 800 plus range, I highly recommend coming to Greece from the beginning, going to these properties in person, feeling the ambiance, seeing the architecture, looking at the views. Don't trust the camera. If you're at that range and that's the kind of property you're looking for, I genuinely suggest you come and start the process in Greece. But at that 250 range, very easy, effectively, we can do it online. So just a very quick note about tax residency and Greek residency. This is not tax advice. This is just an FYI. By doing the Greece Golden Visa, you're only acquiring permanent residency. You are not by default a tax resident of Greece. You're not going to be doing income taxes in Greece unless you move to Greece. However, if the property that you purchase, you rent out and generates income in Greece, that money is taxable in Greece. And this is the 2026 tax brackets for rental income. So at that 250 to 300 tier range, you're going to primarily be in this 15% bracket. That's the most of it. But again, the Greek residency does not equal tax residency unless you do come to live in Greece. If you're physically in Greece 183 or more days in a year, you are a tax resident and you do have to pay taxes on your worldwide income. Now, Greece does have one of the few remaining non-dom programs in the EU. Italy has one as well. Italy's is many think it's better than this one, but this one actually is cheaper than the Italian non-dom. A non-dom program is a program that allows you to live full-time in the country, but be taxed as though you don't. Greece has this. It requires a 500,000 euro investment, which means if you do the tier one, 250, 300,000 euro uh, property on the Greece Golden Visa, you're not going to be eligible for the non-dom. If you do the 800, if you buy a property 500 or more, you will be eligible for the non-dom. Should you want to come live in Greece full time, it is a €100,000 a year flat tax. Doesn't matter how much you make, you're only going to pay 100,000. Here's a very basic example here. It assumes certain things. These are the actual 2026 tax brackets for Greece, just to give you a point of reference. That all of that can be done with us. We are a one-stop solution, all-in-one service. My team handles everything from helping you decide to getting you your golden visa. We do it all. That's with all of the programs, whether it's Portugal, Italy, Spain, Greece, Latvia, doesn't matter. We handle everything every step of the way. One-stop shop. My team is all you actually need. So just a few important things to consider, very specific to the Greece Golden Visa. Renewals can be done remotely every 5 years, and you start them before the actual permit ends. Again, it's permanent residency, but the residency card is only good for 5 years, and you have to renew it. The main applicant can come and do it in person, or you can get a legal representative like my team to help you do it remotely. The current fee, as of now in 2025, the main applicant is 2,000 euros, and there's a small fee, small additional fees for each additional members. Process usually takes about 3 months. Most important thing to remember about the renewal intervals. At each renewal interval, you have to provide proof that you've maintained and continue to maintain ownership of the property. The property has to be kept owned in order to keep the residency, or you lose the residency. They will not renew it. So property ownership must be maintained. Another important thing to keep in mind is the Golden Visa properties cannot be used on the short-term market, i.e. Airbnb. They have to have at least 1 year rental contracts. Okay, so if you're thinking about getting that $1 million place in Mykonos and capitalizing on the summer rental, not going to happen in the Golden Visa. Just to give you an idea of that 250 tier property range, the average rental expectation is 850 euros to 1,000 euros a month. Again, studio versus one bedroom, coastal versus inland. These things matter, but you can on average expect 850 to 1,000 euro rental income a month from those. That's what rents are usually in that area. And that is the Greece Golden Visa in a nutshell. Very quickly, very basics. This is my information. Scan that code. It'll take you to my page on LinkedIn and to my newsletter. You can send me an email and we can set up a free consultation and I can answer any questions you want. But that is the Greece Golden Visa, one of the most popular Golden Visas in the EU right now. And anyone who's listening to this, there's a free consultation waiting for you.